two breaking updates just shook things up in Philly, and even caught the most tuned-in fans off guard. The first one ties back to an unlikely college game that now feels like it predicted the future of two familiar names, Kenny Pickett and Sam Howell. The second brings a warning sign, even with the team seen as a legit Super Bowl contender. Something important just came to light, and it might force a shift in plans. If you're a true Eagles fan, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Let's get into it. Howie Roseman doesn't exactly make it a habit to hit up Thursday night college games, but when he does, apparently, he finds his future quarterbacks. The Eagles GM has only been to one of those games in the past decade, and it just so happened to be that Pitt versus UNC showdown back in 2021. And man, did that one deliver. Roseman, binoculars in hand, watched Kenny Pickett sling it for 346 yards and a touchdown in a gritty OT win, while Sam Howell fired back with 296 yards and 2 scores in a losing effort. Fast forward to today, and somehow, Roseman ended up trading for both of them after missing out on draft day. "He's a great dude," Howell said after practice on Wednesday, as the Eagles prepped for their season opener against Dallas. "He told me the story about that game and how he ended up with both me and Kenny. Kinda wild when you think about it." Now here's the twist. Neither Pickett nor Howell has really stuck anywhere since coming into the league. 3 trades each in 3 years. That's a lot of packing boxes for two guys who once lit up the college football world. Howell, who just turned 25, didn't sugarcoat it. "Up and down," he said about his journey, but he's still betting on himself. "I still see myself as a young player who's getting better. Hopefully I get another shot to play, and when I do, I'll be ready." That shot could come sooner than anyone expected. With backup QB Tanner McKee nursing a broken finger on his throwing hand and likely out until at least early September, Howell might be next in line if Jalen Hurts needs a breather, or worse. That's right. A guy who literally just showed up in Philly on Sunday could be one play away from being under center on opening night. He's been in turbo mode ever since, diving into the playbook, building chemistry with new faces, and getting crash-coursed by Nick Sirianni and QB coach Scott Loeffler. "No pressure, right? This is my 5th offense I've had to learn in the NFL," Howell said, "so I'm kind of used to it by now. I feel like I can pick things up pretty quick, so I'll be ready." Crazy how things come full circle. One Thursday night game, 2 standout college QBs, and now they're both wearing midnight green, just trying to carve out a spot in a wild NFL journey. And if that first story caught your attention, the next one just dropped, and it might impact the very core of the Eagles' defense. All right, let's talk about Philly and this squad that's loaded with Super Bowl dreams. Because while the vibes are high and the roster's stacked, the Eagles aren't exactly walking into the season without a few red flags flapping in the wind. Elliott Shore-Parks from '94. Whip dropped his take on the roster, putting every position into 3 buckets: bad, average, and elite. The good news, he slapped the elite tag on the running backs, wideouts, O-line, and linebackers, basically the meat and potatoes of this offense, and that's music to any Eagles fan's ears. With Jalen Hurts having all that support around him, the offense should fly. But here's the dose of reality. The defensive line and secondary didn't quite make the elite cut, sitting just above average, and potentially holding the keys to whether this team makes a deep playoff run or crashes early. DC Vic Fangio isn't sugarcoating it either. He's raised concerns about the depth behind his edge rushers and put CB Adoree Jackson on notice. Let's be honest, there's a reason both the Giants and Titans let Jackson walk after 4-year stints. The potential's there, but so are the question marks. The biggest gut punch. That CB2 battle never really produced a winner. Kaylee Ringo was hyped early but faded so hard down the stretch that he got demoted in the final week of camp. Jackson won the job by default, but he hasn't exactly locked it down. Now you've got a revolving door behind him with Jacorian Bennett, Cooper DeJean, and Mac McWilliams all getting late looks. Not exactly confidence-inspiring. And safety? Reed Blankenship is the only steady presence right now. Everyone else is a wild card. Rookie Andrew Mukuba might have high upside, but we just don't know yet. Sidney Brown hasn't been on the field enough under Fangio's system to say anything definitive. And Marcus Epps? He's coming off an ACL tear and just got signed. No clue what he's going to look like when the lights come on. There's still hope. The kind that comes from solid coaching, smart adjustments, and in-season development. But if these question marks don't turn into answers fast, don't be shocked if Howie Roseman gets aggressive with trades or signings to plug some of those holes. Because make no mistake, the Super Bowl window is wide open. But the drafty spots on this defense could slam it shut if they're not careful. Two stories that show how the smallest things can make a huge impact, whether it's at the most watched position or the side of the ball that could decide the season. Subscribe to stay on top of everything Eagles.